In the heart of Everbrook, a picturesque town where everyone knew each other, life moved at a gentle pace. The town was known for its charming streets, friendly neighbours, and a sense of community that was hard to find elsewhere. But beneath this serene surface, something sinister lurked behind ivy-covered walls. The old mansion at the edge of town, with its ivy-covered walls and creaking floors, had always been a subject of local lore. Whispers of its haunted past and mysterious inhabitants floated through the town, but no one could have predicted the dark secret it held. It all started with a smell, a foul, unrelenting stench that seemed to seep through the walls and into the very soul of the mansion. It was this smell that led Mrs. Dawson, the mansion's caretaker, to call her handyman. Mrs. Dawson, a sprightly woman in her 70s, had been taking care of the mansion for years. She knew every nook and cranny, every creak and groan, but this smell was new, and it filled her with a sense of dread. She called Mr. Charles, the local handyman, hoping he could find the source of the stench. Simon Price, a reclusive painter, hadn't been seen in weeks. Simon was known for his incredible talent and his equally intense desire for solitude. He spent most of his days locked away in his studio, creating masterpieces that captured the essence of the human soul. But lately, he had become even more withdrawn, and no one had seen him in quite some time. What Mr. Charles found wasn't a dead animal. It was Simon, lifeless on the studio floor, eyes frozen in terror. The sight was horrifying, and it was clear that something terrible had happened. Simon's body was contorted in a way that suggested he had died in agony, and his eyes seemed to be staring at something unseen. Detective Claire Matthews arrived, known for her sharp intuition and unyielding determination. Claire had solved many difficult cases in her career, but this one felt different. There was something about the scene that sent chills down her spine, and she knew she was about to uncover a story that would shake the town to its core. The scene was gruesome. Simon's body, stabbed multiple times, was left like a twisted piece of art. Blood spattered the walls and floor, creating a macabre tableau that seemed almost deliberate. It was clear that the killer had taken their time, and the brutality of the attack suggested a deep, personal rage. No struggle, no forced entry. The killer knew him. This realization sent a shiver down Claire's spine. It meant that Simon had let his killer in, that he had trusted them. The list of suspects was suddenly much shorter, but the implications were even more chilling. As Claire searched, she noticed something off. A painting was missing. The walls of Simon's studio were covered in his work, but there was a conspicuous empty space where a painting had once hung. It was as if the missing piece held the key to the entire mystery. An empty frame in Simon's bedroom hinted at what once was. The frame was ornate, clearly meant to hold something of great value. Claire couldn't shake the feeling that the missing painting was the key to understanding Simon's murder. What was so valuable that it was stolen after the murder? Claire pondered this question, knowing that the answer could lead her to the killer. She needed to understand what Simon had been working on and why someone would go to such lengths to take it. Simon's friends and associates painted a picture of a talented but troubled artist. They spoke of his brilliance, but also of his increasing paranoia and isolation. It was clear that Simon had been struggling with something, but no one seemed to know exactly what. Marcus Reed, an art dealer, mentioned Simon's obsession with a masterpiece. Marcus described how Simon had become fixated on a particular painting, one that he believed would be his greatest work. But there was something in Marcus's eyes that made Claire uneasy. But Claire's instincts told her Marcus was hiding something. There was a nervousness in his demeanour, a flicker of fear that he couldn't quite conceal. Claire knew she needed to dig deeper into Marcus's connection to Simon. A breakthrough came from Simon's assistant, Lily. Lily was young and eager, and she had been working closely with Simon in the months leading up to his death. She revealed that Simon had been increasingly paranoid, convinced that someone was after his work. Simon had been paranoid, convinced someone was after his work. He had started locking his studio door and refusing to let anyone in, even his closest friends. Lily described how Simon had become obsessed with protecting his latest painting, convinced that it held a secret that someone wanted to steal. The missing painting? A grotesque portrait of Marcus Reed. Lily revealed that Simon had been working on a portrait of Marcus, but it was unlike any of his other work. It was dark, almost sinister, and it seemed to capture something hidden beneath Marcus's polished exterior. Simon had discovered Marcus's dark secret, money laundering through art sales. The portrait was more than just a painting. It was a damning piece of evidence that could expose Marcus's criminal activities. Simon had stumbled upon something dangerous, and it had cost him his life. Confronted, Marcus's polished facade cracked. Under the pressure of Claire's interrogation, Marcus began to unravel. He admitted to killing Simon in a fit of rage, terrified that the portrait would ruin him. He had tried to destroy the evidence, but it was too late. He admitted to killing Simon in a rage, burning the damning portrait. Marcus described how he had confronted Simon, demanding the painting. When Simon refused, Marcus had lost control, stabbing him in a blind fury. He had then taken the painting and burned it, hoping to erase any trace of his crime. But traces of Simon's blood in his car and an inconsistent alibi sealed his fate. The forensic evidence was damning, and Marcus's story fell apart under scrutiny. Claire had her killer, and the town of Everbrook could begin to heal. As Claire left, the empty frame symbolized Simon's final silent victory. The painting was gone, but Simon's legacy remained. He had uncovered a monster, and in doing so, had ensured that justice would be served. Everbrook would remember Simon Price, not just for his art, but for unveiling a monster. The town held a memorial in his honor, celebrating his life and his bravery. Simon's story would be told for generations, a reminder of the power of art and the courage of one man to stand against evil.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and like the video.